This is Talkin Jazz, presented by R.C. Willey. And powered.
All right, good evening. Welcome to a new edition of Talkin Jazz. I have the radio voice of the Utah Jazz. The voice is a little quiet right now, but things could be firing up again soon. We're going to talk about that in a moment. David, it's good to see you. The world is just it's a wild place, man. Pandemic, earthquakes, and now everything that's going on with the horrible George Floyd tragedy. How's your family doing and amongst everything that we're all dealing with?
I think we're pretty insulated from it all, which probably is part of the story, right? That there is a huge percentage of the American population that is insulated from it. And then there's a very significant percentage of the American population that lives in that fear on a daily basis and worries about it all the time and raises their kids worrying about it. So I think that dichotomy is probably the primary issue. And for those of us that are in my circumstance, we need to open our ears and listen. We need to really make sure we're hearing what everyone is having to say and what their life is. It's an interesting. I've caught myself multiple times talking about this as though it's not my issue.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's when I do that, that's the problem. It's all of our issues. It's humanity's issue. It's our entire society's issue. So all of us need to open up and listen to that, and listen and ask. I think, I don't want to go on, I know we've got other things to talk about, but I was thinking about, I have such incredible access to such incredible people with my radio job. And then when you couple if you're talking specifically in a case of race to African-American people, like I have some of them, right? Whether Johnny Bryant is one of the most interesting people I'll meet. Have I asked him enough questions? Have I learned what I should have learned in the access? Antonio Lang's dad walked in Selma. Okay, did I ask when he worked with us enough questions? Antonio, I think, would say yes to that question because I was always bugging him. But, have I taken the time when Joe Johnson, who grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, in some of the toughest periods of time and has a story about sleeping in a bathtub because his family wasn't sure where stray bullets were going to go.
Oh, yeah.
Did I ask him enough questions? And so that's kind of what I not only be willing to listen, but proactively ask so you can understand more. Tony Jones, good friend of all of ours, just wrote an incredible piece on The Athletic. I have spent 8 years with Tony Jones. How do I not know those stories? That's embarrassing to me, and that's a failure on my part.
Yeah, it's interesting because Coach Snyder had a comment yesterday, I'm sure you read it, that kind of very, very short explained it the same way you just did, and you're right. Listening is a big part of it, being proactive, and as you just said, ask questions. Where are we failing as a society, and how can we help? So I think one thing we can all agree on, there's a long ways to go, and all of us share in getting to where we need to be. So, very well said. And we'll leave it at that for now. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA. I know you would love. Last time we were on, you and I were talking about how you just don't have much to do. You're doing, of course, the Lock On podcast, which is by the way, is going on all over the nation. It's a great. If you're a Cowboys fan like I am, Cowboys helmet, then you listen to the Locked On Cowboys podcast. But they're really terrific. But now the NBA is going to vote on one of 4 options this Thursday. Now, Woj, who of course leaks everything. He says that the option that involves 22 teams, I believe it's technically option 3, 16 playoff teams, and then the next 6 best teams is the one that he believes or that he understands is going to pass. What is your view on that? Does this help? Nothing really helps the Jazz without Bogdanovich, but what does this do for the Jazz as we head into that at the end of July?
So I think what Woj is reporting makes sense, right? And if actually a lot of this has just been, what makes sense. The biggest question that I think had to be answered was when you jump from the 16 playoff teams, which you were certain you were going to have there.
Yeah.
And then the next question was, what in the range of 30 are you going to have? Up to 30 are you going to have? And there were certainly amount of teams, if you're playing 8 or 10 regular season games, that actually, it didn't make sense for them to go or to play their players, right? Atlanta wasn't going to play Trae Young. Steph Curry wasn't going to play for the Warriors. Karl Anthony Towns wouldn't play for the Timberwolves. So now you're into a questionable value of what the game is. So then the next question was, if you're going from 16 to 22, are you actually increasing the risk by having more people in the campus setting?
Yeah.
And I think the risk is playing, right? Like there's a risk to putting people back together and playing. That's the risk. I really questioned along the way when everyone talked about the risk getting exponentially higher when they went to 22. I hadn't seen that actually made sense anywhere. And so I think certainly there's a bit more risk the more people you have, but if you follow, certain standards, I'm not sure it's exponentially more like everybody said. So the 22 makes sense. So for the Jazz, obviously playing without Bojan is going to be very difficult. I think our advantage is we're a great shooting team, and shooting is going to be at a minimum, I think, to start. And so our advantage is going to be, can we find a way to continue to shoot and shoot better than everyone else in the league? And then I think what will be interesting from our standpoint is did not start the year well offensively, and we did not come out of the break well offensively. Will we be able to be, we're a rhythm team, a system team, very well prepared team. Will we be able to do those things well despite the layoff?
Yeah. Now here's a thought. Think of all the teams that are maybe the true contenders. If you want to consider the Jazz Nation, that's fine. The Lakers, the Clippers, certainly Milwaukee, teams like that, Toronto. When you look at those, I hesitate to say which team is going to be in the best shape. Which team has its guys sitting at home watching TV for the last 2 months, and which team's been working at it. If you looked into your crystal ball, who is in the best shape in a scenario like this to finish it off?
So of the 4 teams you talked about, I'm not certain, right? But I do think that there's a team in each conference that was struggling miserably, who the layoff is a huge advantage to. So the Rockets, who went small and were playing with Westbrook and Harden, but they were running on fumes when we went to break. They had lost a bunch of row. They were playing terribly. And maybe it's going to turn out that system actually doesn't work, and we're going to find that out. But if they've had time to revamp the system, they've had times for Harden to get healthy again and get his legs back underneath him, and they've had time to figure out how they're going to play. The other one's Philadelphia, who was an unmitigated mess as well. Ben Simmons was out with a back injury. They couldn't figure out how to play together. I think they've had a chance to maybe look into that. And so and the fact that I don't know how this is going to work, but Philadelphia was a great home team, they were 20-something and 2 at home, and on the road they were awful. Well, I don't know what they are now since they're neutral. So I think that's it. The teams of what you mentioned, I don't have any idea. I think obviously LeBron getting rest should help him. But I think it'll be unique because these players are all doing something they've never done before, and they're all creatures of habit. And so I think that'll be the most difficult aspect of who comes back. The Clippers, to me, do gain a significant advantage that they have the least good home court advantage of anyone in the NBA. And so they will not have home. They will not, if they play the Lakers in a series, it would have been 7 home games for the Lakers.
By the way, Woj is saying this would end. The last game could be approximately October 12th, which you and I were talking, they would probably restart the next season, December 25th. So we're still sliding into the next year. I
think this is what's been clear this whole time, if you've been following it day to day, like some of us, is that the opening of the next season is going to be somewhere between December 18th and December 25th. Yeah. I keep hearing December 25th, and again, I just kind of go with logic. That doesn't, how TV rules the world. Yeah. There's a lot of TV dollars from December 18th to December 25th if you do an opening week celebration. That are better TV dollars, from my understanding, than they would be December 25th to January 2nd. So I'm guessing we'll start the 18th. But if that's the case, that's October, and then November, and you start training camp the Monday after Thanksgiving. I think this could become the new NBA schedule. You're not competing with, I see a Raiders hat behind you. I see a Cowboys hat behind you. I appreciate the locked on plug, but football rules a lot. And if you go start on December 25th or December 18th, you're not competing with football nearly as much.
Does Locked On make something I could put back here?
Well, I have mine. Do you need that?
Yeah, that's nice. Send me a hat.
Okay.
We've got about 2 minutes left. I haven't had a chance to talk to you since the passing of Coach Sloan. In about a minute or so, what jumps out as one of your personal favorite memories of the coach?
Oh, I mean, I think I have a bunch of stories from when I was his biggest pain. You know, I was a tremendous pain to him at 24. When I first broke into the league to, you know, by the time I was the play-by-play announcer for him in his last year doing those coaches shows, to the evolution of 20 years together. But the favorite story I might tell you, I actually have two. He was on me hard. You were there. I was 24. Yeah. I was a pain. Oh, yeah. He was on me hard. And Bobby, his late first wife, for whatever reason, liked me. So she saw me at a game beforehand. She talked to all of us. And I think I had actually spent the first half sitting with her during the game. And she said, by the way, Jerry's going to be nice with you. I'll take care of that. You're just like him at 24. And I was like, okay. Wow. So about a week later, I'm walking in underneath the Delta Center at the time. And, hey, Locke, my wife says you're okay. And that was it. There's nothing more. I didn't know what to say.
Oh, you needed it. Yeah, I love it.
And I know we're out of time. If I can quickly tell you another one, because I think it's really funny that I mean, I think the tribute to Jerry's, I was that much of a pain in the ass at 24, and by 44, we were pretty, you know, he was close. And by the end, you know, we were close. The other one would be that when I, for some reason, in some arrogant moment of like just stupidity, decided that when I was leaving, I needed to go say goodbye to Coach Sloan. And when I was going to Seattle, I mean, he meant that much to all of us. You went and did those things, but he also then, what was I thinking? Like, what did we think he was going to say? Yeah. So I walked into his office and I said, hey, Coach, I just want to let you know I took a job in Seattle and then moving to, you know, thank you very much. All right.
That's it.
I'm walking out and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was the stupidest thing I ever did. And then all of a sudden, very quietly, he goes, good luck and don't bet Bob Weiss in anything. And it was like, he actually it was like a few words, gave me the piece of advice. I watched Bob Weiss, who was an assistant in Seattle, take about $500 from fellow media members on a pool table, and I abstained that night because I remember Jerry Sloan saying, don't bet Bob Weiss in anything. So Jerry saved me a few bucks.
Yeah. Well, he will be missed. Great man indeed. David, it's always a pleasure. I got a lot more to talk to you about. We'll do this again on an upcoming edition of Talkin Jazz. Check him out on the Locked On Sports Network. David Locke, you and your family, be safe, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
Ooh.
Hey, our high school football partners at America First Credit Union honor a scholar athlete at each game we broadcast. Here's Jade Walker from America First Credit Union.
Student athletes know how to work hard and play harder. America First Credit Union has in the past been able to recognize some of these deserving individuals for a banquet held in their honor. As we're not able to meet together this year, we do want to still recognize these deserving student athletes with a scholarship. America First is very proud to recognize you for your great things that you've done in our communities and wish you the very best in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Jade, and congrats to Corner Canyon's Grace Polson. Perfect 4-0 student and a member of the tennis and swimming team. She also went on a humanitarian trip this past summer to serve the people of Thailand. Congrats, Grace. Thank you so much. This Day in Jazz History is next. Hey, on this day, Jazz history, Game 7, 96, Western Conference Finals. Oh, the Jazz on the brink of making its first ever finals appearance, but instead it went to the Sonics. Oh, Jazz, though, 1 year later, first of 2 straight years to the finals, so it ended up working out okay. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. Be safe out there, and we'll see you tomorrow night here on Talkin Sports.